Here you go, the roots of the black Hebrew Israelite movement in America about William Crowdy. And he did missionaries all the way to Africa to spread that doctrine. Hebrews, your guys' time is running out. You following a doctrine by a Mason member and Bible is a myth. Here you go.
Black Hebrew Israelites, also known as the Black Hebrews, African Hebrew Israelites, and Hebrew Israelites, are groups of people mostly of black African ancestry situated mainly in the United States who believe they are descendants of the ancient Israelites.
So Allah's that doctrine was taught by William Crowdy. Alright? It's nothing but black Judaism. The Shabbat on Saturday is nothing but black Judaism and Saturn pagan God worship.
Degrees to the religious beliefs and practices of mainstream Judaism. They are generally not accepted as Jews by the greater Jewish community, and many black Hebrews consider them
they pimps. You get pimps preaching in church. You get pimps preaching on the blog talk shows. You get pimps preaching on the YouTube channels. You get pimps preaching on street corners with that word of they God, they deity God. They making money off that book, and it's all lies. A lot of folks are dependent on the Bible for their main source of income by doing YouTube videos or making their own videos and charging folks to watch it. It's all a lie. That doctrine was made up by man.
And not mainstream Jews to be the only authentic descendants of the ancient.
Him too. This guy is a false prophet as well. He had multiple wives because he was in the Hebrew Israelite religion.
Israelites. Many choose to self-identify as Hebrew Israelites or Black Hebrews rather than as Jews. Dozens of Black Hebrew groups were founded during the late 19th and the early 20th.
Yep. They were founded in the early 19th century. You see that? Line of Judah. Alright.
While black Christians traditionally have identified themselves with the children of Israel, they never claimed to be descendants of the Israelites. However, in the late 19th century, among some African Americans, an identification with the ancient Hebrews
nothing but black Judaism with the Moloch star. That's nothing but Judaism. They believe in a black Jesus or black Yeshua God. That's called black Judaism. And you know who taught that first? Mr. William Crowdy.
As ancient Hebrews, citing the similarities of the struggles of blacks in America with the enslavement of the Hebrews in the Bible. The first groups to claim heredity between blacks in America and the biblical Jews emerged more than 100 years ago, starting in the South and moving to northern cities along the routes of black migration. They advocated an ideology that reclaimed biblical salvation for themselves and denied the Christian religion of their oppressors. Adam and Eve were black, as were God and Jesus.
Yep. See, that stuff of Adam and Eve and God and Jesus or Yeshua or Yeshai or Yahweh Shai, whatever you want to call these people, biblical characters were black. All started from William Crowdy. I already said it already. Alright? That you're getting exposed.
Jews were impostors, and the white race was cursed. The groups grew steadily in the early 20th
Yep, started right here. The Church of Living God and Saints. All right?
century, establishing churches in Virginia, New York, and Philadelphia with thousands of members.
The Hebrew stuff just spread it like wildfire. It spread it all across. From the United States to Africa, it spread it everywhere. By William Crowdy did a lot of missionaries. All right?
One of the first groups of black Hebrews, the Church of God and Saints of Christ, was founded.
I don't want to hear a Bible verse. Everything in the book, when it said that God said, that's what men said. Ain't no God said anything. According to your Bible, he said, in the beginning, the Word was with God. If the Word was with God, who was there writing what he was saying down if he was supposed to be by himself? Your doctrine is not adding up.
In 1896, during the following decades, many more black Hebrew congregations were established. These groups claimed descent from the ancient Israelites. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, dozens of black Hebrew organizations were established.
Yep.
In Harlem alone, at least 8 such groups were founded between 1919 and 1931. The Church of the Living God, the pillar ground of truth for all nations, is the oldest known black Hebrew group, and the Church of God and Saints.
I done told you already. It came from the Church of the Living God and Saints. I don't care if you get it or not. You just mad because you are caught up in the Abrahamic religion. The Hebrew faith is fake.
The largest black Hebrew organizations. The commandment keepers are noted for their adherence to traditional Judaism, and the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem are widely known for having moved from the United States to Israel. The oldest known black Hebrew organization is the Church of the Living God, the pillar ground of truth for all nations. The group was founded by F.S. Cherry in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 1886, and later moved to Philadelphia. Theologically, the Church of the Living God mixed elements of Judaism and Christianity, counting the Bible, including the New Testament, and even the
Hebrew is nothing but black Judaism.
The Jewish Talmud as essential scriptures. The rituals of Cherry S. Flock incorporated many Jewish practices and prohibitions alongside some Christian traditions. For example, during prayer the men wore skull caps and congregants faced east. In addition, members of the church were not permitted to eat pork. Prayers were accompanied by musical instruments and gospel singing. After Cherry's death, members of the church believed he had left temporarily and would reappear soon in spirit to lead the church through his son. The Church of God and Saints of Christ is a Hebrew Israelite religious group established in Lawrence, Kansas by William Saunders Crowdy in 1890.
Yep. There you go, by William Sanders Crowdy, 1896. That's where your first Hebrew Israelite doctrine started from. I don't want to hear a damn Bible verse you quote. None of that crap. That's what man wrote. Man wrote all those Bible verses. Ain't no spirits, ain't no demons, ain't no angels. Okay? Just mythology. So this is a founder of the Hebrew Israelite Judaism religion, William Crowdy.
Crowdy began congregations in several cities in the Midwestern and Eastern United States and sent an emissary to organize locations in at least 6 African countries. The congregation later.
Yeah, and he set up congregations in 6 African cities. That's why the tribes in Africa, the Limbo tribe, saying that because they learned that doctrine from William Crowdy. It spread it years ago. Hebrews were never slaves in Egypt. There's no proof of that. It only exists in that book. It's all lies and myths and stories.
In Cuba and the West Indies. The Church of God and Saints of Christ describes itself as the oldest African-American congregation in the United States that adheres to the tenets of Judaism. The congregation subscribes to the belief in one God, love for all mankind, and the 10 Commandments as the basis for ethical and moral living.
The 10 Commandments of Moses was taken and stolen from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Book of Matt. That book came out 3,000 years before the Bible came out. Your 10 Commandments came from the book of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Do your own damn research. It's not my fault that the truth hurts.
That teaches that among the descendants of the biblical Israelites are peoples of African descent. However, the congregation believes that anyone, regardless of race, nationality, or ethnicity, can embrace Judaism and become a member. Members believe that Jesus was neither God nor the Son of God, but rather a strict adherent to Judaism and a prophet sent by God.
That's where that stuff came from, man. That black Jesus, Yahusha or Yeshua, it came from William Crowder. He's the first one to teach that this right here. William Crowder taught this first, and it spread it to one west, all the other Hebrew Israelite camps, IUIC, GMS, and it spread it to other people from YouTube. People like Yahusha was a false teacher. I learned what they taught me was all lies. Alright?
Saunders Crowder to be a prophet. The Church of God and Saints of Christ synthesizes rituals drawn from both the Old Testament and New Testament. Its Old Testament observances include circumcision of newborn boys, use of the Hebrew calendar, wearing of yarmulkes, observance of Saturday as the Sabbath, and celebration of Passover and other religious holy days specified by the Bible. Its New Testament rites include baptism, immersion, and foot washing, both of which have Judaic origins from the...
It's all bullshit. Immersion, baptism. Baptism's going back to the Egyptian mythical stories. Do your own damn research. You get Hebrews that trying to immerse women. These guys are deceiving you. You're following a religion that's not real. Bye, I'm out of here.